What's up, YouTube? It's Mike here, back with another video. I want to thank you guys for watching the live feed last Saturday night. Amazing how many people came and watched. That was really cool, and I know a bunch of you missed it and you reached out to me about missing it. I'm going to try to do those more often, and let me know in the comments down below if that's something you do like, is the lives. I'll try to do those more often. Maybe we can set up a schedule on that. I'm not too great with schedules. Maybe we can set one up for lives if that's something you guys are into.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
But again, I appreciate everybody who came out, and so doesn't my wife. I think everybody liked my wife more than they liked me, which is fine. I understand. I think that's in real life for us anyway. That's kind of the way things are. Also, along the lines of scheduling, I had said a few videos back that I was on a schedule of uploading every Tuesday, and then I switched like 2 weeks later. Now I'm doing every Wednesday, so I want to stick with the Wednesday schedule moving forward, and I will try to let you guys know if anything changes, but expect Wednesday uploads from me weekly. Also, guys, real quick, YouTube is telling me in the analytics that most of you guys who are watching aren't subbed. Now, we do have a lot of new subscribers, which I really appreciate, but most of the viewers are still not subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't already, I ask you guys to please subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, and you can always unsubscribe if I do something or say something you don't like. And like I've said before, that is possible. I understand that. So please subscribe to the channel and you'll get notifications. Ring the bell. I appreciate it. So I realize that I've been making most of these videos about the 1500 gallon, and I'm gonna do some updates on that because we had an interesting week filling it. But I'll also do some quick updates on some fish for you guys in today's video. So after I built the 1100 and I was terrified of leaks, I'll also add I've had a bunch of glass tanks let go on me in the past. So I was so afraid of leaks that I decided to get some of these Bluetooth leak detectors, and they work great. So I've had them installed around the 1100 for over a year now, and I did have a couple of plumbing issues from the sump in the past where water leaked down off the sump and into the back, and it was just on the floor back there, and these have saved me a couple times from having it get really bad. So these are great. The company is Grove, I think, G-O-V-E-E, and these weren't that expensive. It came with 3 of them, as you can see. But long story short, as you guys know, I've been filling the 1500 ever since Saturday, and a little bit more every day, and I was getting pretty up there and almost full. And then this morning I woke up to a leak alarm. Yeah, you all already know what I thought. So I ran down this morning and I was already looking at the floor, and the floor is dry. So I immediately went to the leak detectors. So I went to all 3 of the leak detectors, and the floor is dry around all 3 of them. I also frantically was checking all around the back and the sides of the 1500. But long story short, it was a false alarm of some sort. I do not know what happened with these things. I've been running them for almost a year and a half now and have never had this happen. Of course, I have a faulty leak alarm go the day that I finally get the 1500 full. So scared me. That was a pretty big scare, but what made me feel better the entire day was that there was no leaks. So here we are just about full. I actually had it a couple inches higher too, but I wanted to test out my pump and see how quick I could drain this thing. The answer is really quick. So I got some lights on it, which I'm about to show you guys in a second, but this is over 40 inches of water, believe it or not, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, I mean, I only intended to go about this high with a water level anyway. I don't mind seeing a water level, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'll probably run it right about here in the future. So you'll see a slight water line. Now the 1100, you can see from here, This is a little bit low because I've been using water from this to fill the 1500, but the water line on the 1100 is usually about an inch from the top also. And I like that. That gives some jump room, and especially on this tank, we need a little bit of jump room. So if we're up here, we're gonna have about 6 inches of jump room, which really isn't a lot if you think about it for some big fish. The catfish wouldn't really have to worry too much about it, but clown knife and goodness knows what else will end up in here over the years. I would like a little bit more jump room. But anyway, let's get into the lighting a little bit. Well, I was playing with some ideas here for lighting, and my original plan was to do some kind of spotlights that hang down from the ceiling, and as you can see, the wires and stuff are not hidden. This was an experiment. I wanted to get an idea of what it would look like. That's why I didn't do anything permanent, and I'm glad I didn't just dive right in and do something permanent, because I hate this. I really, really hate this. It reminds me of some kind of like grow room or something weird, and it's just, I mean, I know we're in a basement and it's never gonna be that nice of a basement, but it doesn't look nice. I don't like the wires hanging down. Obviously, these ones would have been hidden, the loops here that connect them all, but I don't even like the hangers themselves. So I am gonna go a different route with this, and you guys will see that come along as time goes on and my orders come in the mail. But I ordered 3 submersible LED strips, which I'm gonna mount under each center brace. So I wanted to show you guys real quick that I do have one of these light strips on the 1100 already, and it adds a nice shimmer to the surface, and it does light up the fish, especially because most of the fish spend a lot of time at the front glass begging for food. So that'll be a start, and then I think what I'm going to do is mount standard aquarium LED strips over the top braces. This will just avoid having lines hanging down like that, and I don't think you're really going to notice the cords going over the back. They'll be kind of hidden by the center braces. Obviously you'll be able to see some here and there, but I think that will be better in the long run than this. But you guys, let me know in the comments below if you think hanging the lights like this is better than having like your standard LED strips across here that you would usually mount on top of a tank. Let me know in the comments below what you think. But I don't love this. There's always the possibility of replacing these lights with something a little nicer looking too. But I think the main part I don't like is just having those long hangers there from the ceiling. Just, I'm not digging it. But the nice thing about it being temporarily up is we do have temporary lighting on the tank, which is pretty cool. So you can kind of see in, and obviously it's very foggy, and that's because I've been filling it with tank water for the past few days. So the cloudiness is just like a bacterial bloom, basically, because I've been feeding this with dirty fish water. But doesn't matter, it was just a test fill. So happy to get to see some lights on it and get an idea of what this thing's gonna look like all lit up. So I know that I'm asking you guys for a lot of different suggestions in this video, and it might be a little overwhelming, but I'd like to know what you guys' opinion on me taking all these convicts and putting them into the 1500 before anything else goes in. What I would like to do, ideally, oh, and there's lots of fry in here, convicts doing what convicts do. Most of the time the fry doesn't make it, but every once in a while one of them will get big enough to survive, and that's where the population has got this big. But there's multiple pairs in here. Anyway, getting off topic, what I would like to do is build some kind of structure. Of course you can't see anything in this stupid thing. Some kind of big structure along the back wall, or maybe in these corners, with big rocks that the catfish can't move, and try to make it so these convicts have lots of hiding spots and plenty of room to get away from the big fish. So ideally, it would be great if we could get some spawning convicts in the catfish tank over time. Let me know what you guys think of that, but also I would love to hear some suggestions on a structure that I could make, maybe something with PVC or something that if it is out of PVC, I want to be able to hide it in the rocks to make it so they have a place to go that the catfish won't be able to move. Obviously the rocks are going to have to be very big because the catfish can move some big rocks. But give me some ideas of kind of like breeding territories for these guys, but also safety caves to get them out of harm's way from the big fish. So I've seen a few other YouTubers kind of successful with spawning African cichlids or small cichlids in predator tanks if they have enough room to hide and enough room to get away, obviously. So that would be what I'd be going for. Also, I figured because we're doing some fish updates, I would show the 300 a little bit. Again, I want to mention we're going to replace that 300 with this 600 gallon. Once the 1500 and everything is all good between these two tanks, that's going to open up a lot of room, so I will be able to empty this setup completely and get it out of here and replace it with the 600. So that'll be a good upgrade for this whole system, which is a pass-through system with its own filtration, additional filtration. But basically water just passes through and comes back to the 1100. And that brings me to these little tanks. I set this up as a grow out for this little pearl. And I love this because it avoids me needing to do water changes, and it keeps that little ray on a very steady, for the most part, very stable system. So here's what I'm thinking, because I like this idea so much, I was thinking upgrading this to a 40 breeder, which I would have to come up on top of the center beam here, the cross beam, and raise this up a little bit, and it's going to come out a little further. But a 40 breeder, and just drill the 40 breeder rather than doing a hang on the back overflow, that'll free up a little bit of space, make plumbing a little bit easier, and then have another 40 breeder on this side. So dual 40 breeders on top of the 1100 and make it look a little bit nicer. It doesn't have to be like not painted 2x6s like I did there. This was just quickly thrown together to open up some tank space. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking once a bunch of these other projects are done, is 240 breeders on each side of this. Sorry if I'm moving too quickly. And just have them be complete flow-through systems, and I can always put sponge filter on them like I do for that 20 gallon. That's my plan down the road, and these 40 breeders will be great for growing out other fish, whether it be rays, or if by some luck someday I get a breeding pair of rays here, maybe I'll have pups, then it will be very easy to just pull the pups from the main tank and put them into one of the 40 breeders. So that is something that I'll be working on pretty soon. Well guys, great success on the 1500 so far. I'm going to leave it full for maybe a week or so, something like that. And then I plan to completely drain it as much as possible, wipe down the inside, wipe down the glass. I see some epoxy drips on the glass I still need to scrape off. Clean the whole inside. I'll mount my lights that I talked about under the center braces when I do that, and I'll take care of anything else I need to while it's emptied for one last time, hopefully for a long time. Once that is nice and cleaned out, then I'm going to start filling it up, and I believe the first fish to enter will be the convicts. Now, I know you guys are going to question that, but have some faith, and hopefully with some good recommendations down below, you guys can give me some good ideas for hides to make that work. But the convicts will not be cycling the tank because I have plenty of media to cycle the tank. We will slowly fill it and make sure it stays cycled, doesn't bloom or have any kind of spikes or anything like that before we add any significant bioload from big fish. But I have 6 to 7 sponge filters, and I've already dropped, got all my drops ready along my airline up here. But I have 7 sponge filters that I'm running on other tanks for months now that are ready to toss right in this to make this fish safe right away. And then as time goes on and my main filtration establishes, I can pull out sponges. So we will not have sponges in this tank long term, temporary thing, but it enables me to put fish in the tank a lot quicker, and that's key. As always, I thank you guys again for watching, and if you want more daily updates on the 1500 and all the fish, follow me on Instagram at OffTheDeepEndAquatics, and I will see you guys in that next video. Thank you.